So our next guest is the incredible Michael Tellinger, author of Slave Species of the Gods and founder of the Ubuntu movement and One Small Town.
Michael, welcome to this conference on global peace. And peace is so connected to the Ubuntu movement, the One Small Town initiative. So we'd love to hear what you have to say about that.
Excellent, Lana and David. Nice to see you as always. Thank you for inviting me and thinking of me. Yeah, it's important that your message of global peace and peace initiative is important. And I've been on this for many years, for most of my life. But one of the things that we need to contemplate as we talk about peace and desiring peace, and we want peace and unity and harmony in the world, and millions of musicians or thousands of musicians out there singing songs of love and peace and unity and freedom. And then they lift the spirits of the people up in the audience, and then the people go home after 2 hours to their miserable lives and their miserable world, just to face that horrible truth and the reality we face. So that's obviously not a solution, because musicians have been singing about peace and freedom and liberty for decades and decades, and we still haven't attained it. And some of these people are highly influential. Look at Michael Jackson, the king of pop, constantly reminding us of peace and unity and how we're being divided and how we should stand together and love. And look what happened to him, So what's important to recognize here is that it's not enough to talk about peace. Yes, we need to constantly strive for it, but now the time has come to go a step further and to actually identify the steps we need to take to attain and achieve that peace. Otherwise, 100 years from now, we're still going to be going around, and people after us are going to be talking about the same things, striving for peace. And what good is that? So the Ubuntu movement has evolved over many years, since 2005, when I started to talk about, how money is the tool of enslavement, and we don't really need money, and we should look at a world without money, and how that evolved. Trying to figure out how the world would work if money didn't exist, realizing that it's actually very feasible, very possible. But then comes the harsh reality. Well, how do we create a world in which money no longer controls our lives? And that's very, very difficult. That became then the quest after 2005, is how do we get to that? Then we went through the political field in South Africa, in Australia, in the UK, in Canada, in the USA, and in many other countries that were about to launch, the Ubuntu party. And after 6 years or so in politics, realized that that's not going to work, because that gave me and those that walked that talk with me, we realized that politics is a deeply, deeply disturbed environment, and that it's completely controlled by much higher forces. And the outcome of elections is not what people think. The outcome of elections is not free and fair. Anyone still in the world believes that political elections are free and fair, they're completely delusional, and they don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to go into the details, but that's what I discovered the hard way, by walking the talk, getting involved in politics, running for president in South Africa in 2014. And learning some seriously disturbing realities about the political arena. And that's when we realized that we can't go and we can't think we can inject a seed of consciousness into the political beast, because it's just not going to work. The beast is controlled by higher forces. And that's when the whole One Small Town strategy was born, and realized that we need to exit the political arena, because when you're involved in politics, you are constantly opposing people. You are an opposing party to all the other political parties. But we don't want to oppose anybody. We want to unite everybody. And so exactly. I guess I had to go through that process to learn and have that experience, to be able to say, we've been there, we've done that, it doesn't work. This is what works. This is what is going to work. And so since 2016, the One Small Town model has been evolving and growing and getting stronger and more solid, with every question that people raise and ask, well, how is this going to work? How is that going to work? We find solutions, because the solutions and the answers to the problems are so simple. If you remove money as the controlling tool, and the One Small Town model does exactly that. removes money as the controlling tool, and it allows people to take control of their destiny and their future. And what the One Small Town really does, it gives the power back to the people, and it allows the people in the community to structure themselves. If they can do that with the mayor working in sync and in tandem with the community, that makes an even more powerful unity. But ultimately, we don't need the mayor to do this. We, as the people in our own community, can create a co-op or a non-profit organization or a company, restructure our town, identify the opportunities, the business opportunities, create the business plans, put them on a beautiful website that we create, and turn our town into an investment-friendly environment for investors from all over the world. So that, in essence, is what the One Small Town model is all about. We use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. It is the most beautiful, simple, twisted bit of poetic justice that anyone could have imagined, that we could take the tools that are actually used to enslave us on every possible level, and that's money, the corporate structure, corporate greed, the destruction of corporations, cannibalizing small businesses, that whole thing that completely destroys our society, destroys our small towns and our communities, where the large corporations come and completely destroy small towns. We take all those tools and we turn them around to actually serve us and work for us. So that's why for several years now, we've been talking about the One Small Town model uses the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. And once people realize how powerful we are when we stand united and we do things for ourselves and not for the government, not for the municipality, not for other corporations or executives, we do things for ourselves as a community. So when we bake bread for ourselves. And the excess that we bake, we sell on the open market. When we grow corn and food, we grow so much food that we don't know what to do with it. We consume what we need to, and the rest we sell on the open market. Let me tell you, the financial models that we have done on this, the business plans and the business models and the spreadsheets that have been done on the One Small Town contributionist model, that's what the One Small Town works with, contributionism, where people contribute their skills and talents 3 hours a week. That's what everyone is required to contribute, just 3 hours a week. Well, the financial models on this 3 hours a week from the community members are so mind-boggling that we actually have to scale some of them back because they turn out to be too successful, and investors might think this is some sort of snake oil sales gig, you know? So we know from our experiences over the last 13, 14 years, what not to do. We've walked the talk, we know what not to do, and now we're implementing the simple steps that we know are going to bring the unity in the community, going to bring the power of the people to the top, to the front, the surface, and then initiate all these dozens, if not hundreds of businesses in our town that bring the turnover and the cash flow that make our town incredibly wealthy. And with that wealth, we create the independence where people realize that we don't need money. Money does nothing. People do everything.
That's amazing. Everything you've said speaks to kindness, peace, doing things for ourselves, an act of kindness to ourselves, not just to us as individuals, but also to everyone in each community. And what you're talking about, peace plan that does this with no violence whatsoever. Just it's everything that this teleconference is about.
It's a truly peaceful way of becoming sovereign beings. And it's fascinating when you talk about the financial models and how abundant this is.
Can I tell you the model? If you take a town of 10,000 people and everybody contributes 3 hours a week, that town has a potential of generating $1 billion or more turnover per annum. And this is based on statistical, turnover of corporations of 5,000 employees or more. We can compare a One Small Town scenario with an international corporation of 5,000 employees. We are, as 10,000 people of our town, can generate more profits, more produce, more whatever it is we choose to do than a company of 5,000 people. because the people in our town contribute their 3 hours a week. And we've got this constant volume of people that need to be put to work 24 hours, 24/7. It never stops. While corporations, most of the costs go to paying the labor, paying the people. And the productivity of corporations is based on the hearts and minds of the people. If the people just do it as a job, just as a means to survival, they do as little as possible. In our town, when the people contribute their 3 hours a week, they'll want to contribute more time and make it more successful and more productive, because they're co-owners of that, not only that business, but every other business that we set up as the cooperative corporate entity in our town. So we're taking the tools of enslavement, corporations that normally destroy people, destroy our lives, destroy everything around us, our towns, everything. The fabric of society are destroyed by corporations, and we're turning it around. We're turning our town into a corporate entity of which we're all co-owners, and therefore we do everything for ourselves and we profit. And therefore no external investor could ever come and undermine what we do, because they're not going to get the free labor force that we have. So once we initiated any business as the cooperative in our town, no foreign investor or external investor can ever undermine our business. It's simply financially impossible.
Exciting stuff, but we always have you come on and talk about Ubuntu, because our charitable organization, Universal Soul Love, is founded on exactly the principles that you're talking about right here. I mean, this is a kind system.
Now is the time to do this. Now is the time where the economy is looking like it may falter very easily. So paradoxically, this may well feed the One Small Town initiative and the Ubuntu movement. So I understand that you've got ambassadors now, international ambassadors you've set up.
Yeah, look, the big thing has been the pressure on me to run this really on my own, and members in more than 140 countries around the world. The pressure on me is just intense and insane, and there's always very little funding. So I'm always begging for people to make monthly contributions so we can run a successful and a slick office. The more funding we have for the office, the more effective we can be around the world in many countries. What has happened now, we've got some funding, monthly funding from people that is helping to sustain this initiative and help me to do more work and spend more time on it. But we always need more. So if anyone out there, go to onesmalltown.org and sign up to be a patron. Please become a patron of the One Small Town initiative. The more funding we have, the more successfully we can run the international office. Now, what we've started doing to take some pressure off me is to appoint One Small Town ambassadors in every country. And at this stage, we have 9 ambassadors in 9 different countries. And I'm about to appoint the South African ambassador, which I've just met a few days ago. Actually, I met this person many years ago during the South African election time, the Ubuntu party time. He was a big Ubuntu party supporter in those days. And he's done incredible things as a conscious activist over these years. So I'm most likely going to appoint him as the new ambassador for One Small Town South Africa. But we have ambassadors in 9 other countries. Namibia, our neighboring country, doing fantastic work with 4 mayors already and 4 municipalities that love the One Small Town idea and they want to implement it. We have Lebanon, where we already have a commitment from the mayor. We're just awaiting the official statement on video from the mayor. And that's going to now be the first mayor in the new era of One Small Town to officially embrace it and start to initiate this. This is going to be a watershed, historic moment when that video comes out, because that moment opens a door to investment to that town immediately. And we know this from our historic activities. So we have ambassadors in Australia, as you met Mark Burden, in the UK, in Brazil, in Holland, in France, in Croatia, and I'm probably forgetting another country. And it's just very exciting. And more people are putting up their hand to become ambassadors so that I'm no longer the only contact for people. So they have their own contact in their own country, in their own language. And the ambassadors that then do training with me so they know as much as possible that I know, so they can then convey the plan, the implementation strategy, the simple plan, to get the mayor to embrace it and the community to embrace it, so that we can create that investment friendly environment in that town for the investors to come running. And I can tell you, when we launch this website for this Lebanese town, very soon, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we hope to launch the website for Lebanon, this small town in Lebanon, about 5,000 people. It'll have probably about 20 to 50 business investment opportunities with the spreadsheets on it, with the expected investment and the profits. When the investors see those profits, it's going to create a stampede. And that will then create the knock-on effect for all the other towns. It's all about, like I said, taking the tools of enslavement and turning them into tools of liberation for the people of the community.
And this is a kind act. If you want
Very
to call it
kind
an
and
act.
peaceful act. That's
It's-
fantastic. That's so
Mhm.
inspiring, Michael. So inspiring.
And just so everyone knows, and I think everyone that's listening right now knows you anyhow, just from being in the spiritual circles, we see the Ubuntu movement everywhere we go. I mean, this isn't a small movement. It's a very large, people all over the world.
Taking back what is ours, it's practical and it's going to work. So
Yeah, look, it's very important that people realize the difference between all the other movements and the other truth seekers and whistleblowing platforms and initiatives and groups and so forth. They play a very important role. They help people open their eyes. They help people wake up. They help people realize the terrible truth and face the terrible truth that we face as the human race. It is horrific. It's beyond horrific. We find ourselves as the central oppressed victim characters in some sci-fi horror movie right now. We're right in the middle of it. The global population, by the global elite, where they've enslaved every single one of us with draconian laws and rules through our leaders that pose as our leaders, that are just the puppets of the global international elite. We don't have to go into that. But so many of these movements that share this information and knowledge, they're very important because they get this information out there. But then we need to take the next step. What do we do about it? We need a plan of action. And there is no other plan of action that I know of that is as complete, as holistic, as simple, as non-confrontational, as completely and fully inclusive and embracing of everyone. No one is ever excluded. All you have to do is become a part and contribute to a One Small Town initiative. And everything comes in abundance, in such abundance that we cannot even comprehend it right now.
Creationism is itself a very kind term and a very kind feature of this. I mean, everybody knows what it means to contribute. This is all about unity, and we are a global community. I mean, this is very relevant. I'm just want to make it clear what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
for everyone.
So contributionism is unlike any other ism. It's unlike communism, fascism, capitalism, socialism, any other ism that we've had, because contributionism allows people to take control of their community. They create incredible abundance and prosperity, while that prosperity in essence then removes the need for money. That's the ultimate, that's the final outcome of it. But we're making so much money in our town, but we're not using the money for ourselves, because everything we grow and create and that we distribute to ourselves, you know. So we don't need to pay for anything in our own town, but we're still making money from the businesses that we create and the stuff that we sell around the world. So we keep making money every week and every month, but we don't have to spend money. And that's when the penny finally drops. Look how much we've got. And we don't need money to have what we've got. So that's when people realize that we don't need money. We need each other, because money does nothing. People do everything.
Mm. And if this sounds confusing to anyone, that's okay. This information is readily available. Michael's got it. You can give if you have another website for people to look at, or any other information you want to provide for people to do a little more.
It's just very simple. onesmalltown.org. Go to onesmalltown.org. All the videos are there. Everything. It's so simple. It's just, we take a small town and we turn it into a investment-friendly cooperative that we, the people, are the co-owners, the majority owners of all the businesses that we've identified. The investors simply come, they fund the businesses, they take their 1/3 of profits, 2/3 of the profits come to the community, because we're the ones doing all the work. And that's what brings the abundance and prosperity. And then just for working, I was just doing the crash course. I'm just editing the crash course video right now, which is about 12 minutes long. The crash course is 10 hours long, and you know, the crash course little video that it's like bullet points. It's 12 minutes long. So I'm just busy editing it. And what becomes very important is that people don't get confused about what needs to happen. Watch as many videos as you can, and don't get too excited and run out there and try and solve the problem overnight. Okay, calm yourself down, absorb as much as you can, and go out there and share this information with everybody. And find your ambassador if you have a One Small Town ambassador in your country. Communicate with an ambassador, devise a plan of action, and constantly continue sharing the One Small Town website.
We invite everyone to go to the website, onesmalltown.org, and a very inspiring message for world peace and solidarity, and really taking ownership of our lives. Thank you very much,
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, we just thank you so much for coming on to this teleconference and taking the time out to join us with everyone else here and talk about the One Small Town initiative and everything you're doing. Just appreciate your work, and
thank you, Michael.
Ask everyone to
Thanks,
support
David.
you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Lana. Great to see you guys again, and hope to see you again down under if and when possible. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.